with multiple. Uh, we uh, we had a visit to Jaipur and Jodhpur in the month of March, and there we saw many people. There is a unique situation over there where the people over there are wanting only to do government jobs. So a discussion with the people came up that how do we crack government job or how do we get a job. So at that time I realized that it's better we tell or we let know people about the opportunities in IT and how one can switch to an IT job. Um, it's not a magic science or it's not a difficult thing to do. It's just a time and effort and a systematic way to prepare, and that should take care. So this is how we came up with this particular thing. I'll go step by step. In case anybody has any, please unmute yourself and ask me if it is very critical or if it is something that can hold back. We do have a question answer session at the end. So you may note down all your questions and we'll go one by one and I can go back to my slides and also answer the questions. Will that be okay? Okay, sure. I'm on the first slide. I'm going to the second slide. Give me a minute. Okay. Yes, this is me. I'm presenting the session right now. My name is Riyaz, and I have about 20 years of IT experience. I did my bachelor's of engineering, B in computer science, and then I went to US. I did my master's in computer science. Uh, I've been with a major company, telecom company, for almost 16 years, and then later on I switched to a startup. I worked there as a security research on information security research, and then later on I switched to a company named JLLT. It's a property management company, and I'm a senior solution architect over there. Uh, and that is my LinkedIn profile, where you can go and check my thing. www.linkedin.com/in/Sheikh Riyaz Ahmed. And one thing what I do like to interact with multiple people. I have a habit of interacting with multiple people, and right from the beginning of my career, I've been talking to many. I like to understand. I like to know people, and that's how most of uh, students and colleagues and working neighbors. I happen to guide them on pursuing IT jobs, and it really became. Uh, I have few success stories that I can share, but this is a summary of all the things that I've been doing for the last years, past 15 years. So let me share about thing. Currently, no, what is the current IT situation in the market? Um, this was not the case 2 years before. Uh, this was not the case 2 years before. When pandemic started, it changed the dynamics of how we work. And one of the things that happened is most of the companies were not digitally enabled. Their digital journey was practically zero. And we all know how it happened. There was movement restrictions, there was lockdowns, and nobody was allowed to go out. And this had halted or demanded businesses to move into a digital journey where they they had to enable their businesses into uh, digital platforms, and so that the businesses can run without any hiccups. And this caused a tremendous demand for IT market, and so much so that right now companies uh, uh, across the globe, especially US is majorly facing it, but otherwise Europe is also in the current situation. And since most of the IT companies in India, they do support US and European market, there is a heavy demand for IT professionals. And because basically, pandemic brought a revolution in the how the way we work. Previously, working from home was a very luxury. If any company used to give, it was a very luxury item. Now the case is if company is not giving work from home, there are people who are resigning from those companies and switching to companies who are willing to give work from home ability. It's not an ability they want; it's a facility that they are demanding that we do need to work from home. Uh, and if you go to Google right now, I just did this 4 hours ago. I go to Google and I see India IT companies attrition. Attrition is basically the number of people resigning from a company, and the percentage of the people resigning from a company. So if I search for this in Google right now, you can all do it. India IT companies attrition. The first thing that you get on the top is attrition in the IT sector is at an all-time high. For the quarter ending December 2021, which is about 3 months before, 3 to 4 months before, TCS saw an attrition rate of 15.3. Infosys and Wipros are standing at 25 and 22 percentage. Uh, Now, question is, what is this? Is it good? Is it bad? Why these numbers? Uh, some years ago, I was in a company. I was in a telecom major company. Our attrition rate was only 5 to 6%. Now, at one point of time, the company touched an attrition rate about 8%, and all the managers they were called into by HR, and they questioned any team. For example, in 100 people, 8 members resign, and that is a huge number. So the question, the focus went on managers as to why the developers under that manager or under that SPM or under that organization are resigning so high, and they were questioned, and performance uh, 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 objectives were given that you need to perform well so that your team members does not resign from the company. Now I'm talking about few years ago, or about 5 6 years ago, where if the attrition rate was touching 7 to 8%, it was considered very high. And now in December 2021, if you see Infosys, Wipro, TCS is considered to be one of the companies where people don't switch so often. But even that is facing 15.3, 25%. So almost in every 100, 25% are resigning. So if I look at Infosys, if they have 1 lakh people, almost 25,000 people are resigning from that company. So this is very huge number. And Gartner had done a research, and they came up this is it started from 2020 and the pandemic from time onwards, and it went up to 20% in 2021, and now some of the companies are backing even at 30%. Now, so basically 100 out of 130 people are resigning from the companies almost, and this is a huge burden on the company, in the sense to get a resource from the market, it takes about 4 to 5 months. So imagine 25,000 employees from Infosys, or a 1 lakh company, 25,000 members resigning, and getting them, and you imagine the business criticality. If people are not there, how things can run. So this is what the tremendous demand in company now. uh, why is this happening? Uh, as I said, after pandemic, demand for IT professionals, demand for a digital transformation went very high, and the people who are very good in IT skills are in much in demand, and they are resigning, and they are going to companies where they are offered much more benefits. So if you see one of the what is the impact of that attrition? Okay. So if I see, if you go to LinkedIn and look for this Rahul Jain, he's a IT delivery manager. I've just picked up his article. Uh, Cognizant, one of the largest companies, along 2 lakh plus employees, uh, in the end of December last year, 31% is the attrition rate. Infosys 25%, Wipro 22%, TCS 15%. So many people are resigning because there is a tremendous demand for IT professionals or people with IT skills. And the numbers, if I see, he has wrote, these high numbers scream out 3 points. One is IT skills are in very high demand, and people are getting paid more, and the retention rate of the companies is also, companies are going at a, they're taking an extra step to retain staff, retain professionals. And previously, if I I remember, if someone used to go and ask for a hike, they simply, HRs used to simply deny it. If you look and if you Google Accenture a few months ago, for 40,000 of its employees, without any ask, without any demand, they incremented the salaries of all 40,000 employees. Reason, they don't want, people or the professionals to think of switching out of the company because other company is paying more. So they don't want that, and without demand, without asking, the Accenture gave rolled out increments to all of the staff. And the people who got benefited are the women professionals who are working from home. And most of the women professionals, they generally don't like to switch companies unless and until there is specific or need or demand or problem with that. But that is how it is. The benefit is, Accenture, out of that, Accenture benefited, women employees working in Accenture benefited a lot. And it happened just because, they don't want their employees to resign and go to other companies. So now, what is this attrition tells us? There is a huge demand for IT skills, and the supply is very less. Okay, and now looking at those numbers and looking at how the situation is. For example, if you see at the at the point one, TCS alone hired 80,000 professionals, 80,000 freshers, 80,000 freshers, just TCS alone. Now talking about Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, you know, uh, there is a huge demand for, professionals from all types of background. Previously, whenever a job demand used to put up, they used to put, we want freshers with IT BTech background, or communications background or something like that. Now the situation is so dire that even the professionals who are doing BCom, BA, and who can speak well and who has a good analytical and thinking capabilities, they are also being invited by these big companies for jobs. So this is a huge thing. So now is the best time to shift. When I say shift, it can be shift to other companies. Because at least, the least is 30% hike, is what minimum, every person is getting. And if you are pursuing a very niche skill or niche technology, uh, 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 even 100% is something that companies are willing to give. I recently interviewed a one of for my company. We interviewed a Snowflake fresher. She was having 2.5 years of experience. She was getting 6 lakhs, and she was very good. We thought of hiring her. She was demanding 12 lakhs. Basically, 100% is what she was demanding. 100%. You know, and whether we had it or not, we put her on on hold. We wanted to see if we can get other professionals with higher experience and lesser salary, but that is how people are demanding, salaries. So it is the best time to shift, one, within the companies, and also uh, for other persons. other people who are into different skills or different technology or different background of engineering backgrounds, they can shift to IT. Okay. And this situation, this attrition impact has given us a tremendous opportunity for us for a career growth and also for professional growth. Okay. So now, when we want to shift, the first thing is what are the fears we have? Uh, I want to shift to another company, or I want to shift to a new technology, or I want to learn a new product, or I want to learn in a new service, or whatever it is. Like, want to learn anything new. What are the things that run through my mind? One is, I have a doubt. I have a self-doubt. I'm a um, mechanical background guy. I cannot do computer science. I don't know. I will not understand, or I may not be able to understand computer science things. So there is a doubt. We doubt ourselves. I'm not capable enough of understanding things. Then there is fear of unknown. I don't know, like how, if I go and do this, I don't know what will happen, and I don't know what it is, and we don't know anything about it. So why should I go and pursue? There is a fear of unknown. The third thing is, like we have fear of failure. Okay, even if I do pursue a new career, uh, uh, you know, you are successful in your career, in your current career, or you are good at your current things, what you are doing, and every time you do, you are successful. Now, anything new you do, there is obviously a chance that you will fail, and that fear of failure stops us from adopting any new things. Okay. And and most of the times it is, we are in the comfort zone and we don't want to think anything outside of comfort zone. you know I myself is a situation. I was working almost like, for 17 years, 16 years in databases, and I was not thinking about anything outside databases. And later on, it so happened that, I had to get out of it and I had to think about it. And one point of time, I faced rejections in my promotions just because I was not aware of anything other than databases. And that forced me to think like, I need to switch out of databases and learn something else. So, and that's how, I learned many things. And getting out of that comfort zone, we don't think anything out of comfort zone. Okay. And obviously, like, the success part right in my career, uh, in the start of anyone's career, we are enthusiastic, we are energetic, we have ability to learn, think, adapt to failures and all those things. Now, as we grow in our experience, we feel it is very hard to succeed, and we see many hurdles out there, and that puts us a break. So these are all the things that goes through my mind, like whenever I need to adopt to any new thing or new technology, or when I need to learn to new product. These are the things that comes to me, and this stops me from adopting anything new, or this stops me from changing my attitude. Now, how do I change? How what is that I need to do? So the first thing is, I need to change my mindset. What is that I need to change my mindset? There's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset. Fixed mindset, we think about skills, like, oh, these are something I cannot. It's only this I can do. I cannot change about it. So my skills are very limited. I cannot learn any new skills. That is my impression. But a growth mindset is like, if I think about it, okay, let me see, I can learn some things, and let me see if I can improve. So that is a growth mindset. Uh, Guys, if you can please mute yourself. So first thing is like, I cannot change my skills. Second thing, growth mindset is, okay, let me see if I can learn. If I put some hard work, I can improve. That's a growth mindset. The challenges are, okay, why do I need to adopt this? Why do I need to do this? Well, it's if I do this, I'll my lack of skills will be revealed, and it will be overwhelming for me. I will not be able to do. So this, people are not willing to take challenges. Now, what is a growth mindset? It's just a change of mind. We all need to think about a growth mindset. We all need to change to a growth mindset. Let me see, let me embrace the challenge. Let me see if I can change. And obviously, like, you will be facing some, difficulties in adapting to that challenge, in taking up that challenge. And that demands for perseverance. You need to stick to that. You need to be there, and you need to be patient and learn and do it. So, so we need to change from fixed mindset to growth mindset. Now, effort. I'm good at, what is the fixed mindset? I'm good at this technology. I'm the best in this technology. Why do I need to, put any effort to link, to learn any new things? When I do something new, why should I, be blamed like, I'm not good enough in that? So that is the mindset. But growth mindset is like, okay, as I grow in my experience, I cannot be just sticking to one area of my work, right? So, uh, guys, if you can mute yourself, really appreciate it. Okay. Uh, so effort is essential. It's not that, I learn one thing and that's it. I don't need to learn anything. Now the case is such that, like, every professional, there is a change. Every technology is changing rapidly. We need to put an effort, and that is essential. And it's just not just putting an effort to learn things, but we need to learn it to become a master into it. So that's a growth mindset. Anything I do, I need to be termed it as I am the leader and the master in that, and that requires an effort. It's just not that, I'll just spend 5 minutes learn an article, read an article, and I'll get to know. It's not that, right? So it requires an effort. And obviously, like, when you are doing something, feedback comes, and, like, you are good at something. So we tend to be defensive, and we take it to be personal. But obviously, when feedback comes, I look at things in one particular way, but others look at it in a different way, especially my boss or my seniors, or, like, my superiors, they, or even my juniors, whom I'm working with. If something feedback comes that is useful and positive, let me take that in a useful and positive manner. Like, what is that they are saying? Some people just complain, they have an attitude of complaint, so we can forget about it. But some people, most of the people, really give good feedback, provided you ask them, and then you are open to that mindset. So we need to welcome that feedback. And then these are the areas that, when feedback comes to me, I can identify, okay, these are the areas that I need to improve. Okay, there are multiple things. It's just not learning about an IT skill or IT technology. When you work in a company, there are multiple things. Your communication skills are there, your team collaboration skills are there, your follow-up skills is there, your responsibility, your attitude to dealing with others, and then your patience, and all those things comes. So feedback is something like, maybe one person feels you are very irritating, or maybe some, many things. So we need to have an open mindset, or a growth mindset is like, we accept, we welcome a feedback, and we take the positives out of it, and we identify areas to improve. And obviously, something go bad, bad happens. Oh, I did not do it. It's not my fault. And, we easily blame others, and we discourage also others. But others, a growth mindset is, it's just not that, I'm the only person who is contributing in the company. Obviously, companies, many people. So we have opportunities to learn from each other, and we focus on making changes. Sometimes the processes, sometimes the people, sometimes their attitude, many things. Like, we need to have a growth mindset in the sense, okay, this is something that, okay, this is a process change. We cannot accommodate this changes in the last minute. So that is a process change. And this is the person has an attitude. He needs to, he's very good, but he talks roughly. So all those things, like, we focus on this. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to change our mindset. Okay, I need to learn something new. These are the fear factors, right? uh, if I have to go, these are my fear factors. These are the emotions that I go through. Now, if I change just my mindset, okay, I should improve myself. I should be open. I should be learning. And to learning, I need to put an effort. And when I put an effort, I'll get some challenges. I need to be patient. You know, I need to learn from feedbacks. There are setbacks. And obviously, when I put my hard work, my skills will improve. So that is a growth mindset. So now with that, I have decided, okay, I want to switch my career to an IT. Now, when coming to IT, what is that I have? I come into IT, I see the tech stack. There are huge number of programming languages, huge number of technologies, vast, the area is so vast that you will, the just looking at that, you'll get discouraged, right? So you don't know what to do, you don't know what to pursue. So, and just like, if you look at, I just randomly picked up a slide from the market. I was looking at, and what is the best I can present to you guys is what I was thinking. And I see there are mobile apps, there's iOS, Android, Flutter, Reactive, Jarmin, Ionic, and then there is a front end. Front end, if I need to do all the front end technologies, there's so many technologies that I can learn. you know and then when I go to back end technologies, there are so many back end technologies. The Node.js, .NET is there, Express is there, Java is there, Python is there. And like, I don't know what to do. And then databases, obviously, everything deals with data. So when I need to connect to my database, I have so many variety of databases that I can connect. So MySQL is a SQL Server, Postgres, Mongo, Cassandra, and then finally, I need to host all this into one particular platform. When I wanted to host all these technologies to a platform, I have Amazon, I have a Google Cloud Platform, Digital, Ocean, Heroku, Microsoft Azure. So many things are there. Now, what is that I need to select? Out of so many things, which one I need to go? What is that I need to select? I don't know whether something is good for me or not. I'm so confused, right? So when you are in that situation, what I want you to do is, do read and analyze, like, learn about things. For example, you may want to go to a front end technology. You may want to go to databases, like learn about databases. And it's about perception. It's about, like, your attitude. It's about your abilities. It's about your strengths. You need to understand. You don't know anything, right? Obviously, you are not the only person taking a decision on your own. You also need to consult with your friends who are on that particular field, or maybe some superiors who are placed at good positions than you. Maybe you can talk to them and understand them. And what is that, which is that good and which is that easy, or what is that you are able to easily adopt to. So first thing is, like, for example, I'll give you an example. One person came to me back in 2007. He was my masjid colleague, and he came to me and said, "I said, yes, I want to change to IT." And he was a BA graduate in sociology, or BA become, I don't remember, but he was very good at English. He was doing a teacher job. He was drawing some 3,000 rupees salary. And he came to me and said, "I know I'm not satisfied. My responsibilities are huge. And with this 3,000, I'm not able to do anything. And I obviously need to earn more. And I feel IT is the good for me. So I want you to help me learn, switch to it." I said, "Okay, well, and fine. What do you want to do?" He said, I want to learn .NET. I want to go into .NET. Okay, sure. So I told him, do these things. He went away. He came back after a month saying, "I'm not getting a single thing in my mind. I'm not able to understand anything. What is that I should do?" I said, "Okay, I'm in databases. I can suggest." I was working on SQL Server at that time. I can guide you on SQL Server, and these are the things that you need to do. Check about it, learn about it, and see if you can able to understand all those things. He started reading about it. He called me a couple of times on my phone, and then I said, this. Okay, so he was able to easily pick it up. So first, initially, he thought, .NET is good for me and I can do .NET. But later on, when he read, he realized, I'm not good at .NET. I cannot do that. Then he started reading databases, and something that clicked him. SQL Server is just a technology. Same if you can go to MySQL or Postgres, it's the same thing. Like, it's just a matter of syntax, right? So what I want you to do is just read and analyze. In the sense, read about the technology, what it is, and what is the technology, what are the how is that language spread out, and were you able to grasp on all the things. So read, analyze, identify your abilities. Some people are good at thinking, they are good at thinking, analytical skills. For them, programming language like backend services is good. Some people are good at designs, so maybe for them mobile apps and web front end, the technologies is good for them. Some can think in a better way on data perspective. For them, databases is good. Some are very good at doing repeated tasks. Not new things, but if they can do repeated tasks or simple but repeated, but voluminous kind of a task, so maybe they can go into administration and they can go for that cloud and integration. And obviously, these are not the only things that I have listed. There are many, many things out there. But obviously, when you're talking about an IT, uh, you know, it's about a programming language, and that programming language caters to one of those needs. Whether it is a mobile app, whether it is a front end, it's a back end, or a database, or a service. It can be a back end service, or the back end can be there, and it's obviously hosted on a particular platform. So post things on that. So read and analyze, identify your abilities and strengths, and then choose what suits your interests. Sometimes you can do things better, but you are not interested. So now you're doing things in a particular technology, some in a particular field. You may be good at it, but select something which is related to that. Uh, right now, I'm in a property management company, and one of the lady who is a project manager in UK, she was from a civil engineering background, and she joined as a project manager into our company, and she's driving the projects for us. Now, she's from a civil engineering background. She was into construction, but being a lady, she cannot go to that those locations and be present online. But she is very good at understanding the civil kind of a thing. And our company is like property management company, and she was very good at. She was able to understand that, and some part of her career she worked on to IT. But she cannot program, but she understands programming. But she can fully understand the civil part. So she chose a project management for a property management company in an IT department in a property management. So that's how it is. So you need to choose what is that, and obviously this will take some time. It's not that something very quick and very easy, but slowly and slowly, and you need to be very quick. It's not that sometimes you may not able to understand, and you may feel like IT is not for me. It's not that. Maybe that particular technology or that particular language that you have chosen, it's not maybe good for you. So that's what I wanted to read and analyze about that. Identify your abilities and strength, and then choose what suits your needs. Now that you have selected a particular tech stack, now what is my journey? How is my journey going to be? uh, this is something requires time and effort. It's not that it's very easy. I can switch job just with a flick of my finger, and I'll go that up, right? So you need to go to job portals and search for the kind of job that you are looking at. Okay, and obviously, uh, mm, many job portals are there. Naukri.com, Indeed, Times Job. Like if you search Google, you'll get a lot of job portals, and look for a particular job position or job requirement or something like that. Search for a job, search for a particular technology for that in the job portals, and you'll get a huge set of uh, you know job requirements there. So note down the requirements. Note down the requirements, and depending on the requirements, you may need to tweak and change your resume. Okay, so you go to job, search for job portals, and then note down all the requirements, and then come and change your resume. So I'll give an example. For example, let's assume I wanted to change to Java, right? I wanted to change to Java, or I want to learn Java, or I want to learn Python. I can look for Python jobs, just search for Python jobs online, and you will get lot of Python jobs. And if Java, if you see Java right now is heavy demand, you will get lot of Java jobs. Now, what is that I need to learn Java? Okay. So in Java, there are multiple libraries. You need to learn one of the libraries and look at all the note down all the requirements. Maybe you need to separate it out. Maybe 10 or 15 or 20 job requirements, you will get it, right? You note down all the things. Maybe in 10 to 15 of job requirements, you'll see some common things. Okay. You'll see some common things in the sense that will tell you these are the things that are essential if I need to pursue a Java job. Okay. Or if I'm looking for a Python, if I look for Python jobs, Python is a very easy language, but very huge, set of libraries. And if I look for Python, a lot of things might come, but there are for each of those languages or each of those technologies, whatever you choose, right? There are some specific set of must have requirements is something that you need to note it down. Okay, if I'm going into Java or if I'm going into Python or if I'm going into AWS, right? These are the things that are essential for me if I need to go and uh, uh, essential to have must have things is what. And then there will be different libraries. For example, Java, if you're doing like, uh, into microservices, then RESTful APIs and microservices architecture is something that are required. But if you are going into enterprise, and enterprise libraries are different. So probably this is the effort that I want you to put. Like identify, first of all, identify what is you are good at, and if you are good at, you understand what is you are good at. Go look for job portals, search for the job items, and you will get tons of requirements, many jobs, like and the more you gather, the better you are. Okay, note down all the requirements and then segregate that. Okay, these are the must-haves. These are the ones that are looking for this particular set of jobs, and these are the requirements that are looking for this set of activities. So you will understand. I mean, once you understand that, then something you need to tweak and change your resume. Now, this is not just a one-time effort. This is a continuous effort that you have to do it. Now, the strategy is you have decided to switch. You have selected what is the technology. Now, in that technology, what is the demand in the market is what I want you to understand that. Depending on the demand in the market, choose that particular demand in the market, learn about what its requirements are. You may need to change your resume or tweak your resume to reflect those requirements and then start a product again. And this is something, okay, we'll come back to this slide, but this is something, a continuous effort that you need to do. Okay, you need to search for jobs, note down the requirements, learn about it. Now, once you have noted that down all the requirements for that particular thing, now the actual preparation starts. What is that actual preparation strategy? And this is not something very I studied tonight and tomorrow morning I'm ready for the job. No, it's not that. It takes a decent planning. It takes patience to prepare and a perseverance to stick to that. Right. So what I what I have guided many people uh, is is what I'm telling right now. This may be lengthier for some, or it may be even less for some. So an average is what you're looking at, about 6 to 8 months of preparation. Okay. It's an overall process is what I'm talking about. So for example, if you decide right now I'm in this particular field, I want to change to a particular technology in IT field, you're somewhere looking at like, 6 to 8 months of preparation and switching over to a new job. Now that 6 to 8 months preparation, now what is that? When I go to this, people say, okay, Node.js is famous, go learn Node.js, and you learn Node.js and you come back and you decide. You talk to somebody else, he'll say, oh, no, no, Python is good. So you learn about Python and then you do it. You learn Python for a month and then he comes back. Now somebody else, you talk to them and they say, okay, no, no, data is very demand. DynamoDB is very good, or Cassandra is very good. Go and do it. MongoDB is very good. Just go. So many people, according to their experience, whomever you talk to, according to his experience, they will guide what to learn, what to do. It's not that you need to learn all those things, right? So the preparation is you need to select one technology. Okay. You will have, right now the demand is like, if a person knows 2 to 3 of these tech stacks, they are much preferred. But obviously, I cannot expect a person who is starting new. Um, uh, Guys, go on mute, please. Obviously, I cannot expect a person coming new into IT technology to learn all those 4, 5 stacks, right? No, I cannot do that. So you need to select one technology. What is that one technology? Identify yourself, choose what is, whether it suits your interest, and then you need to stick to that one technology. And we are talking about 4 to 5 months of learning that technology. You have noted down all the requirements, right? So for example, now you decided that you wanted to learn Python or you wanted to learn Java, right? When I take out Java, I know at least the first 14 chapters are very, very, very essential. I'm just giving a random example, 14 chapters. It can be 18 chapters or it can be 10 chapters. In Python, it's about like, I started learning new language Python 3 months before, and I see like almost 12 chapters in Python are very essential. That those are the things that are like, the backbone of Python, and that is used in all the libraries of Python. So you need to have knowledge of those concepts in that particular language. So what I said is like, the ask, the base requirement is something that you need to be very clear on those concepts of that particular technology. You choose Python, if you look at various books, you will understand, okay, these are the essential things that are needed in Python. Okay, I'm not good at programming language. I'm good at databases. Let me learn database. So if you pick up Postgres, which is very high in demand, or even SQL Server, that has essential like topics, essential chapters that you need to do, learn, and be very, very proficient in that. Like, those are the things, concepts that you cannot miss that out, right? So maybe like, if I open up if I take any SQL Server book and I open up, I know these are the things that are very essential to learn, right? So one technology, learn, you know repeatedly learn, read, and be very proficient about the base concepts, right? And then you have noted down all the major requirements, right? For example, now I want to switch to a web-based microservice architecture. Now, microservice architectures are very high in demand, and mostly Java-based microservice architecture has huge demand is there in the market. But it's not very easy to learn Microsoft architecture immediately, right? You need to have a strong concept of Java, and on top of it, you need to learn additional libraries, which provides that microservices abilities, right? So that is what I said, like, you need to note down that you need to list down all the topics, what you want to learn, what you don't want to touch about it, and learn those particular topics, go in a sequential fashion. Why I'm saying 5 months? Because obviously you're not a fresher coming out of college and you have all day long with you, right? Obviously you're working in a particular technology or particular background. You have some different background and you'll be working full time, and you're taking out time to learn some time out of your day, right? Uh, so when I say 5 months, I'm talking about like, taking 2 hours per day regularly and learning the technology, and it takes about 5 months. And I hear some of the people here on this call, they have the dedicated time right now. For them, maybe it's like in a month or two. In 2 months they can learn it, provided like they spend the time as it is a full-time job. I sit from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, or depending on your nature, like you sit from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 11 o'clock in the night. It's up to your nature what you do. But when you do learn, you need to sit, with focus, learn that particular technology, learn the concepts of the technology, and then be proficient. Now, how is that I know I'm good? I'm learning. I'm learning a particular Java technology. Let's assume I picked up Java, or let's assume I picked up Python. How is that I know I'm improving in my in Python? Uh, if you go and search Google, let's say Python interview questions or Java interview questions or microservices architect interview questions or AWS interview questions or GCP or Azure interview questions, you will get you will get different sets of interview questions. There is a beginner set of questions, you'll get intermediate set of questions, and you will get advanced level of questions. And most of the people, they have done that good job of segregating which is beginner level, which is intermediate level, which is advanced level. Get that set of questions, note down that set of questions, and obviously you'll have answers too. Don't read the answers. Two things you can do: you can sit in front of a mirror, you ask the question to yourself, you tell the answer yourself, and then later on go back and check the answer whether the answer you said is matching with the answer that is provided in that question and answer booklet or not. This one thing. The other thing is if you this is obviously essential step. You need to cross verify yourself, whether I'm learning or not, whether I'm able to, if any question comes to me, whether I'm able to answer that question, whether I'm able to think on those lines or not. Because obviously it's just not learning, right? When a question can be put in multiple different words and formats and scenarios, but obviously it turns back to that one particular answer, right? So one person can ask a scenario based question, another person can directly ask you a question like, what is 1 plus 1? Obviously nobody will ask what is 1 plus 1, right? So nobody will ask in Java what is a polymorphism. Nobody will ask like that. They will give you a scenario based question, or if a person is really serious and he is also experienced, he will ask you a scenario based question, in the sense like, I have a library already existing there, now I need to improve on that library. How do I do that? So obviously, when you want to improve on that library, you want to add some additional functionality. That is what you need to take the class and add some functionality, right? So these are the essential questions that you need to ask yourself. You need to uh, uh, check yourself whether I'm able to answer those questions or not. And Google has all the things, take a technology, you have beginners, intermediate, advanced, super advanced, all different kinds of things will be there. So that you can mix and match that 5 months and 1 month, right? You can learn about a particular chapter, you can look for those chapter related questions, or you can learn all those base concepts, and then you can go for all the interviews on the base questions. You mock yourself, you do the mock interview for yourself. Or maybe you have colleagues who are proficient in that, and you can ask them. Or maybe you have some superiors, or you have some neighbors, or you have some friends who are working in that particular technology. You can ask them, take me interview as if you're taking as a real interview, and then that is how you learn about yourself. And obviously this will bring up lot of things out of you. You will feel like you are understanding this, but when actually interview comes, that mock interview comes, you will really understand, okay, this is what I understood, but this is not what it is supposed to mean. It was supposed to mean that, and this is how it needs to be implemented or understood, or it needs to be told like that. So mock interview is very essential. Otherwise you will not, you will feel like you have spent all those 5 months, and then you suddenly go and talk to an interview. Obviously you will fail, and that will cause such a depression that you will not come out of it, right? So you need to be critical about yourself. You need to do that mock interview. Now once you do that mock interview, once you learn the questions, you download the set of questions from Google, you ask the questions to yourself, and you reply that answer, or you note down the answer, you write down the answer, then cross verify the answer, which is the answer for that particular question. You will understand, okay, whether my understanding of this particular question is right or wrong, or if it is wrong, why is it that I am wrong, and what is the actual way of answering that particular question. You understand that. Now when you do that mock interviews for yourself, and when you sit with a colleague, MFIRD, we do have many people. You can consult any one of us, you can contact any one of us, and we should be able to, we have all set of different professionals. When time permits, we can also do that mock interviews for you. And when we do that, you get ready. Now you are mentally prepared, right? You are mentally prepared. Now you can go and face the actual interview. Now this is the preparation, right? This slide and this slide are very interconnected. When I say interconnected, because you search the job portals, you noted down the requirements and you learn about that technology, right? And once you learn about the technology, you have noted down those things in your interview, in your resume. And then that resume is something that you publish on the job portal. Depending on what you have noted down in the job portal, depending on the requirements, you will get calls. You will be actual interview will be faced right now, right? Now, when you are facing the actual interview, it's obvious that your 5 or 6 months of preparation will not result in your first interview to be a success. You will definitely get rejection, right? And I don't want you to uh, take it in a failure sense. I want you to take that in a positive sense. When I say take that in a positive sense, go to the interview with a paper and pen, or uh, with some set of mind. Tell that interview that I want to note down the questions if you permit. Okay. Most of the interviewers, whoever is taking interview first, they will allow it. Okay. And when they ask the questions, make a high level note of those questions. Okay. And give an interview. Tell them the answers. Obviously, depending on first one or two, three questions, the feedback will be visible, in the sense, in the form of your body language, or in the form of, like, whether they want to continue with you or whether they want to abruptly cut. Maybe you have 45 minutes set of interview. In about 10 minutes, they say, okay, thank you. Let's talk about later. You can clearly see that, you have been rejected, right? Because you have not answered that question. That's why I want you to note down the set of questions that are being asked in that interview. Maybe high level bulleted point when doing the interview, and when you are noting down that, it's an etiquette that you need to ask permission from that I wanted to note down, right? So note down the set of questions and then give an answer. And if you feel you are not right, okay, and if you feel you don't know, tell them you don't know, but also tell them I will try. Okay. That way the interview is mentally prepared, that and he is thinking you are making an attempt, and obviously he don't know he's trying to make an attempt. He may fail, and when you tell that I don't know, I want to attempt, he will give you the benefit of doubt, saying that okay, even if you fail, he will forgive you. But if you don't tell that I want to try, I don't know, I want to try, he will assume that you have worked on that particular experience. Now you are bluffing, and that is clearly visible. So obviously, maybe 1 or 2 months is the actual interview that you will face, and you note down the questions. And one or two, three interviews, it will really go bad because you are not able to articulate, or you are not able to understand the scenario, or you are not able to put the answer in the format that explains the situation to the interviewer. A lot of different things, right? As soon as you come out of the interview, immediately at a place where you are alone, or maybe you can think and talk to yourself. Sit there, note down all the things that interviewer has asked you. Okay, and also note down what is that you have replied to that questions. And ask for feedback when you are finishing an interview. Ask for feedback from the interviewer. Most of the people who, when you ask open feedback, how is it or performed, I know I did not do good, what do you think I need to improve? If you can ask those questions, they will really, most of the people will be really giving. If some people do not give, no issues, nothing to worry about it. But the feedback is something that is really essential, because you need to learn. And this is what the mindset is about, right? When you get a feedback, you need to welcome that, and you need to take it as a positive feedback, and you need to identify areas to improve. It's just not that, okay, you become sad and then you curse yourself and go back home and sleep, or do some weird things. Not that. You will fail, or you should be open that you will fail, and then you should be open that you are learning to improve on that. Okay. Once two or three companies or four companies you get rejected, or five companies, depending on how good or how bad you are, it can be two, or it can be five or six companies. But also, one of the strategies that you need to do here is do not go for the companies that you dreamt of. Okay. For example, somebody's dream is that he wants to get into Infosys. Somebody's dream is like he wants to go into Wipro or maybe into a multinational company like Microsoft or something like that. As soon as you put your resume, you may get a call from Infosys. Okay. Now that is the first interview that are going. Don't go for that interview because you have just learned the technology. You have not faced its actual scenarios. So definitely you will fail. So don't go for that company. Politely, like reject that or prepone it, postpone it to some other time. But go for the companies which are like maybe small companies are there, or maybe the companies that you don't like to join. Right? I didn't hear the name of this company. Maybe it's a big company, but I don't want to join that company. Do some background about that company that you are getting a call from, and then decide. Okay, this is a small company. Okay, let me go on. And believe me, small companies do very tough interviews. Okay, and obviously big companies also do it, but depends on how the situation is. So go for the companies which are not your dream companies. Okay, get rejected, but learn from the rejections, and that is what the important takeaway from this is. You need to have that rejection experience and you need to learn and improve on that rejection experience over the set of time, right? You already done mock interviews, you have done a bunch of questions, right? Even if you download like Java basic set of questions or Postgres basic set of questions, you will get like 150 or 200 questions. Obviously most of the things will get covered in that, right? So there is mock interview questions are there is actually interview experience that you have faced, right? Now, once you are done that, now when your dream company has called for an interview, go for that, do the interview, and I'm sure you will get selected over there. Okay, and that is where the final selection happens. After 4 or 5 companies rejection, you will get selected in that company. And once you go into that company, it's not the end of the world, right? It's not that you have achieved, you went to the top of the mountain and you have just put a flag out there. So you do need to be patient because you just have normal theoretical experience, not practical experience. So when you go to the company, you will fail. When the first assignment is given to you, you will fail. You need to try. You will fail. You need to try. You will fail. And some part of time you'll get success. Right? Coming back to the person I told you, just one example that I'm telling you. Many examples are there. So this person came to me and they said, I wanted to learn .NET. I said, well and fine, go and learn .NET. And he came back after 1 month and he said, I'm not able to get into my mind one single concept of .NET. I don't know what to do, but I still want to go into IT job is what he said. Okay, well and fine. I'll guide you on databases because that is something I'm working on. I can do that. And I told him these are the questions. These are the books that you need to read. Go read it and come back. And looking at how the things are, I told him like, come back after every 1 month and, give me the status update as to what you're doing. He came back after every 1 month. He told me what he learned. And by the way he was explaining to me, it was obvious, he was learning things, but obviously he was not learning in the proper way, which is needed for the company to hire. So I was guiding him. So when you do the preparation, right? Go talk to any one of your superiors or colleagues or friends who are into that particular area. Talk to them, take them as your mentor or guide, ask them to be, guide you. And obviously, like, some time is needed from them and you just tell them what is your preparation and then you polish yourself and you tweak yourself to that. So I was telling something, right? Yeah. He learned databases and over a period of 4 to 5 months, he learned databases very well. And then this particular section came. I asked him to do the mock interviews and, he did the same thing. And I also did a mock interview. I said, well and fine, go. He did, I asked him specifically, his dream company was Wipro. He wanted to join in Wipro and, somehow I asked him why Wipro. He just had a dream. That's why he wanted to go into Wipro. Okay, well and fine. So he got 4 or 5 interview calls. He asked me, I wanted to go, and I said, go to these companies and do the interviews. He went to all 4 or 5 companies. First interview was very, very, very bad. You know, he was immediately rejected within 15 minutes, and he went out. And then he came back very sad. But I said, that is what the patience you need. So he learned. He went to a second company, 20 minutes rejected. He went to third company, 30 to 40 minutes, he got rejected. Fourth company, he got rejected. Okay, now the fifth company, when I was talking to him, he was so confident that I can handle the interview for the fifth company. He was very, very, he improved on himself, and he understood what his weaknesses are, what his strengths are, how to talk, how to present, what to talk, what not to talk, and all those things he understood. The fifth company, one of the small companies, he got selected. Okay, and he was so excited. At the same time, he also got a Wipro offer, contract to hire position. He went to Wipro and he also got selected there. And I'm talking about 2007. He got 25,000 rupees per month offer. So imagine, a person working as a teacher from a sociology background, working for 3,000 rupees per month, getting 25,000 rupees per month was a tremendous achievement. He was very, very happy and he was in cloud nine. I said, don't be on cloud nine. You face multiple challenges and you need to be very patient. And, he joined Wipro, and the boss he got, he was a very discriminating boss he got, the team lead, you know. And after 2 months, he was calling me and he was saying that, he was torturing me like this. He was saying me like this and all those things. I said, be patient, learn. These are the things that you need to learn once you go into the company. And one fine day, he called me and said, I slapped my boss, you know, because he used a B word for me and I couldn't take it and I slapped him in front of everybody. And his manager called him up and he said, like, Mr. X, you know, everything was forgivable. Okay, you could have given, you could have retaliated with some, bad words to him, but you should not have gone physical. He went physical, he slapped him, and that is something that cannot be tolerated by any company, and he had to be terminated. So within 2 months, he got terminated. But question is, he got 2 months of experience. Result is 2 months of experience, multiple technical experience and also team experience. Then he switched to another company, Bombay. He went to Bombay. He worked for 4 months there, and after 4 months, he was fired from there because you know he was very good at interview, but practical he was not able to do it because he didn't had any practical experience. So 4 months he got kicked out of that company too. Now, 2 companies he got out and he got 6 months of experience, right? He went to third company. He did very well in India, but he was sent to Kuwait based on the. After going to Kuwait, he worked there in Kuwait for 6 months. After 6 months, that company sent him back. No, we don't want this person. He claims to be having 4 years of experience, but he doesn't even has 6 months of experience. Looks like only he has 6 to 8 months of experience, and that is obvious, right? So anyway, short story, he worked in 4 companies within 1 year. He was sent out either forcibly or that, something like that. But after 1 year, he got so experienced, you know, and he got selected into one of a company in somewhere company, and he was sent to Los Angeles as on a deputation. And he got selected over there. Now he's working in Los Angeles for 140K US dollars. Okay, right now he's drawing 140K US dollars. This is a person who is from a non-IT background. He learned, he persevered, he was patient, he learned, he improved on top of it, and then he went. Another example, there was one person who was from mechanical background. I don't remember mechanical or some other background, but he was from Jharkhand. He came to Hyderabad for looking for a job, but he couldn't get a job. Same time, around 2008-9. One of my colleagues came and said, like, I have one friend who is almost having suicidal thoughts because he's not getting a job. I want you to talk to him. So he came to me. We talked for some time. He's very good, but only thing is he had a pressure from his family that they were from a humble background family. They put all time and effort to make him study engineering, and the expectation from the family is like immediately after engineering you will get a job and you will earn money and then you will support back us, and that did not happen obviously, right? So there was a pressure from the family that he was not able to get a job, and he was trying very hard. He was not able to get a decent job, and to survive his time or his time here in Hyderabad, he was doing an accounting job and he was drawing 3,000 rupees as a salary. I said, okay, no issues, no fine. Do the same job, but don't look for that. Try to switch to an IT job. And I asked him to go to one of the institutes in Ahmedpet, where he can get a computer for 1 or 2 hours. He went there. He was doing the IT job. He was doing that accountant job for 4 hours per day. And the rest of the time, I asked him to do as a full-time job to go to the institute and start learning. And asked him to concentrate on one thing. And I asked him what is that he wanted to do. He did multiple things, but Oracle apps is something that he had inclination for. I said, oh well and fine, go and talk to some Oracle apps and then ask them to give them the computer, and learn there, sit there and try your experience. He learned Oracle apps for almost 3 months. And after that, I asked him to forget about every other thing. Concentrate only on one thing, Oracle apps. And in Oracle apps too, there are multiple modules, right? HR module, then there is multiple modules for that. I asked him to concentrate on only one. I don't remember which module, but he concentrated on only one module. And I asked him to note down all the base critical things that he needs to be proficient. And then he was able to learn it within 3 months. Uh, short story, cutting the story short. Uh, Cutting the story short, he was called for an interview to Abu Dhabi by one of the airline companies. He went there. He gave the interview. He got selected. Now he is in Abu Dhabi working that company, and he's earning very good money. He got married after that. He was able to support his family. But one thing is like whenever you seek guidance from the persons who are knowledgeable in that area. Okay, don't seek any guidance for the sake of seeking guidance, right? One person, he was from a civil background, or I don't remember. He was from my hometown. He was from a civil background, and he got a .NET job in a startup company immediately after the college. And the obvious expectation is that he will learn .NET and he will do, and he was about to getting a very humble salary of 5,000 rupees. And he was not able to code .NET very properly because he was from a civil background, and suddenly he's sitting in front of a computer and he's asking to be done. After 2 to 3 months, he approached one of his persons he know, and he uh, uh, he asked him to quit the job. If you're not able to do it, why are you working it? Why are you taking all the pressure? Just quit the job and then come out. He listened to his advice, that friend's advice, and he quit the job. After he quit the job, you know, he went into more depression because he was earning some 5,000 rupees, was able to take care of his monthly expenses, and that got suddenly cut down. Or if I remember, I think he was drawing somewhere around 15,000 rupees salary. I don't remember, but 15,000 for a bachelor immediately out of a college in a sharing basis is obviously a good amount, right? He immediately resigned from the job. He came out of that company. Now he cannot go to .NET, and he wanted to learn new things, and he was not able to learn new things, and he didn't know what to learn new things. And then that's how he landed up in a very one trouble, and he was almost jobless for 1.5 years. He learned, IBM, one of those WebSphere technologies. He was very inclined towards that. He learned WebSphere, but it took him 1.5 year to switch to IBM WebSphere, right? So multiple things are there. The things that I presented here is a strategy of how to learn things, but there is also a guidance part, how best you can tweak your resume and note down the requirements and all those things. And this is something that you need to turn. You need to have a very patient approach, and then uh, you know take a informed decision. It's not that you take a radical decision. Sometimes you are heavy. I got contacted by one person last month, and he was having 14 years of sales experience, and because now pandemic, all sales are gone, nobody is doing anything. He used to run from one country to another country. Now his job is cut down. He wanted to switch to an IT job. He switched to an IT job because he has 14 years of sales experience. He was able to articulate very well. He was able to present very well. He got a job. He went into the company. Now after going into the company, he realized, I'm not able to do the code. Okay. So he was able to manage all these experiences, interviews, and all those things. But when actual hands-on coming, he was not able to do it. And now it's all about learning that particular technology. So it's just not, not learning technology. It's also multiple things. But the initial cracking thing is like, finalizing on a one particular technology, learning it properly, and then doing the mock interviews, getting into the company. And once you learn, come into the company, the team skills, attitude, collaboration, and all those things are something that you will learn automatically. So example, you get into a company, and most of the companies have probation period, right? And that is the time that you will be evaluated whether you are doing good or bad, right? So some companies have 6 months, some companies have 1 year, Infosys has 1 year, right? So if you are proficient in you are technically, theoretically you are good, and you land into that company, be prepared. If for some reason you are about to get kicked out after the probation period, be ready for it, but don't worry about it. In the sense, like, for example, if you join Infosys, and you will be struggling in like anything to initially 2 to 3 months or 4 months, you'll be struggling to get your deliverables right? Because you don't have practical experience. You will be learning that experience, and you'll be doing it. Obviously the feedback will go that you're not much capable of your experience that you're projecting, so you will be, after the end of that probation period, you will be let go, right? uh, Now imagine this, the bad situation is you are letting go, but imagine the positive outcome, it like you are able to work in that company for 1 year. You are able to learn different experiences, and you can take that experience and join another company, right? Obviously the second company that you join, you are much more prepared, much more experienced than what you have joined in the first company, right? So this is the strategy that I want, and it's up to. I mean, it's very easy. I have told them to many people, but don't go for a radical preparation in the sense like I'll prepare for 1 month and I'll immediately go for job interviews and I'll get selected. You will face hiccups, you will face rejections, and that will make you go to some unwanted situations, like you may feel bad about yourself, or some people even may go into depression that I'm not able to crack it though I'm so good and so proficient. It's just not that. Me being from an IT background, when I was doing my masters, all my project work was in Java. For 2 years I was doing Java, right? And when I went to the market, there was no Java jobs at that time. I had to switch to SQL Server. I learned SQL Server for 1 month, and then I was able to do the SQL Server job for 6 months. And after 6 months, a project requirement came that a particular piece of code had to be written in Java, and I raised my hand that I will immediately get this done. After 6 months, I realized that whatever I had done for 2 months, I forgot about it. Everything I forgot everything about Java, and as if I was learning it afresh at that particular time. And after 2 days, I had to go back to my manager and say, "Sorry, I cannot do this in Java. I used to do it, but I forgot everything." Right? So that's how it is. So you need to learn one particular technology. You need to constantly, review it. You need to do that mock interview, get it done, and then you need to have practical experience. Uh, this is what it is. I do have many things. For example, now you may ask a question to me like, how do I get practical experience, or how do I get practical hands-on code experience for that? You get different books. You search for a book called Recipes, recipes of SQL Server, recipes of Python or Java projects or Python projects, or like, .NET projects, or like, you will get multiple, you will have different books, different pages where you can get all those things. One is, you need to learn the base concepts of that particular technology. Another is the recipes. Recipes in the sense, it is actually a scenario-based questions that will be give you, and it will also tell you how to solve that. So there are books also available in that, and you can buy that books, or if you go into on internet, most of the websites will have free PDF books. You can download that. Once you go to that hands-on experience, this is what the 5 months preparation is. You learn it, you do that hands-on experience, and then you do the recipes, and then you get yourself perfect, get yourself to experience and perfection in that particular thing. Okay, that's how you do it. I have kept it in a generic way, in the sense I did not particularly concentrate. I wanted to give an example of a Java and all those things, but it will cause confusions to others. So it's basically planned for 5 to 6 months. Good thing is 6 to 8 months is good thing. Learn one technology, do a mock interview, get actual interviews and get rejection experience and final selection. And obviously this is a bigger part where you will face much more bigger challenges, in the sense like, you will be learning about how to deal with the team and all those things. Okay. Uh, I come to end of a session. Any question and answers, you can unmute yourself and ask me, please. Hello.
Do we have any questions from the audience, or
Yeah,
everything is clear?
I know my part is very easy to present. Most of you might have been thinking it is something a magic bullet that I can bite and I can get it. No, it's not. Even for a particular IT professional to switch from one technology to another technology, these are the timelines that I'm looking at. 5 to 6 months is something, it does happen. And it takes patience, it takes preparation, it takes to be, you will be facing a lot of challenges, and then you need to do. Any questions? Be open.
Yeah,
No question is a dumb question. Yeah.
myself is asked this. Actually, even I also have experience into account management for almost 12 to 13 years.
Okay.
That too into networking, basically Cisco, Juniper, and all, but on a basic level. But recently, I have done a course for UiPath. 6 months down the lane from MFRI itself. But I'm when I practice, I feel I'm comfortable. But because of my job schedule and busy schedule, I'm not able to get into that domain. Yeah. So what do you suggest? Actually, a couple of my friends are telling, because you have basically good account management experience and you have business skills, you can get into a business analyst role. But I was in a dilemma. What should be my steps to get into it
See,
from
the answer
sales to
lies in
technical?
your question itself. You said I'm not able to give time, right? The basic requirement is you need to give time, as simple as.
Yeah, this is my question. Need your input.
Yeah, the basic requirement is you need to give time, as simple as that. On a daily basis, on a regular basis, you need to give 1 to 2 hours, for working professionals. When I put that at 5 months, right, it's about like 1 to 2 months, 2 hours per day. You need to, your time, your schedule, right? Take 1 hour of your day regularly. Maybe it is early in the morning, late in the night, or in the afternoon, depending on your schedule. But you need to do it every day. Every day you need to do it. You need to do some hands-on coding. You need to do some hands-on learning. That's how you gain experience, and that's how you'll be able to put that, right? And obviously you can go to forums, search for that UiPath forums. What are the questions? What are the problems people ask? And once you learn that question, you can, like, Stack Overflow, if you go and search for UiPath questions or problems, people will pose the different problems. I'm trying to do this, I'm facing a problem, what is the solution for it? Maybe you can take that problem and try to solve the problem yourself. But that is essential. You need to allocate that dedicated time on a daily basis and work on it with a focused manner. And yes, Your current experience is not going anywhere. You are very good at your financials, right? Accounting and financials. That is not going anywhere. You don't need to worry about it that, I'll be losing my accounting experience or
No,
financial experience. No.
I mean accounts means managing enterprise accounts. That is into sales
Yes,
itself.
but everything demands experience, right? You need to slowly and steadily switch. It's not that I have accounts experience. I want to get into management of accounts. Can you give me? Nobody will give that, right? So you need to get into a company through some means, and then slowly and steadily you need to make connections, and then you need to move. Got it?
Yeah. Can you just repeat? Actually, it just got dropped because of some.
Basically, what I'm saying is, for the current technology, you need to have a dedicated focus on learning, and then your current experience is not going anywhere. It will always be there to help you out, and you can switch to any time for a bigger role in that in your current experience. But obviously, like nowadays, because every company is going to digital transformation, an accounting company is going for a digital transformation, a marketing company is going to digital transformation, a property company is going to digital transformation. Obviously, an IT person will not come and able to do justice for it, right? So a person with an accounts background will come, and then he will be able to translate accounting into IT. A property person will come and he will be able to translate a property experience into IT. So your current experience is essential. At the same time, you need to also learn the new things. Okay. Okay. There is one question on the chat.
So you mean to?
Best. Yes, Asif.
Yeah.
Give me a minute,
Sorry.
Asif. I'll reply you back. No issue. Give me a minute. There is a question on the chat. What are the best institutes to learn? There are many institutes, but for a working professional, I would suggest go for Udemy or Coursera. Buy courses from Udemy there, and most of the time, every week, every other week, courses will be on offer. Some for 360 rupees will be there, 450 rupees will be there. You go to a hotel, go for a dinner, you will spend like 600 rupees, right? Buy two courses and learn the two courses, and you should be good. Joining any institute or getting from Udemy. Udemy is best because those are highly experienced professionals who are preparing content over there. You will be able to learn it better in the company. And obviously, institute is there because you can go into institute for practical experience. As I said, you need to have that mentor also with visiting you and guiding you. Probably it is also whatever the field, you can just talk to multiple things, but what I suggest is first you go take a Udemy course or Coursera or Udemy is the best platform. Learn from it, and then you can go to any other institute, and they will be able to judge whether the institute is providing good information or not. Okay. Okay. I see another question. How many in many job requirements they ask for technical knowledge or experience? I have only theoretical knowledge. How do we show knowledge even though we have entirely different industry? If we had to do course online, how do we determine the credibility of that certificate? Uh, Technical knowledge or experience. Especially this is a challenge for freshers. Obviously, without experience, you cannot go, and without work, you will not be able to get experience, right? So sometimes you might need to put fake experience and go. But if you are good at very technical experience, you are able to crack the interview. Most of the people will forgive your technical experience. So this person I was talking to you about, I was telling you, he talked to one of the small companies, and then he talked to them. He said, I want you to give me a 1 year experience certificate from you, and they charged some money, and they gave that certificate. But that was a reliable company. But some of the companies are there which use experiences, but that are blacklisted also. So most of the companies will do background verification. You will be do that, but don't worry too much about it. You just put the experience, as I told you about the recipes books, right? Learn, do the recipes, get your hands-on experience, and then state clearly, for example, one person we had from SBI, okay, in one of my previous companies, she was 15 years of experience in SBI. She was into accounting domain, but for the last 1 year, she was working on SQL Server because SBI went into digital transformation, and each of the branches had to be adopted to databases, right? Every branch had to go online, and accounts had to be online. So she learned that, and when we interviewed her, she was good at SQL experience, but she also had 15 years of managing experience. And we had a project where, we were hiring 15 freshers, and we wanted one senior experience person who can manage these freshers. So she was knowledgeable, but she also came with background experience of 15 years, and that was what needed. So be true to yourself, put as is experience, and most of the time it should work on your thing. But at sometimes, it might not work, but be patient, keep working, and somehow situations will arise where you'll be able to get through it. Okay. So I have another question. Is it necessary to get computer science degree to get a job in the IT sector? No, it's not necessary. As I told you, most of it's essential that you need to get knowledge. It's not essential that you need to have a computer science degree. We had one person from mechanical background. He was PhD in mechanical, but he came into IT experience, and we asked him, why are you joining IT? He said, most of my friends who are from computer science background, they are earning much more than what I have. I have a bigger degree, but I have a smaller salary. So he learned Snowflake, and then he came into databases, and then that's how he did. So it's not essential that you need to have computer science degree. It's essential that you need to have the knowledge of the technology that you are planning to work on. Okay, so that is one thing. And Talha, you said I'm a fresh graduate student from BSc Maths, Electronics, and Computer Science, and really very confused what to do. Getting very much sad. Could I suggest some fields that I'm good at maths? And sir, could you share number so that we can contact you? Important doubts for careers point. I wasted 7 months and what to do and all. Yeah, this is why I suggested that you need to have a proper guide. You need to get a proper guidance. It's just not that that you talk to anybody from an IT and he will guide you to how to switch to an IT, right? It's just not that. They need to have that ability to understand you, and they need to have that ability to guide you depending on what you are good at. Okay. What I suggest to Talha, you can get into contact with MFIRD team. I don't know where you are from. If you are from Bangalore, there is Saib, there are sessions happening, monthly mashuras happening, or how is it? Right. So you can get into each other. I have given you my link, right? My my LinkedIn link. You can add me as a request. Post me there. I can share you my number over there. Okay. Okay. You can just contact me, Sheikh Riyaz Ahmed, senior, or search on my name. You should be able to get it. I have given you my uh, my LinkedIn link over there. You can add me as a contact, and we can talk to each other. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, Masiha here.
Yeah, Masia.
So for me, like I already told, I'm absolutely not from IT background. I finished my BBA and then I have completely finance work experience. And then again, I did my MBA in finance. But then I do realize that, even the finance job needs a lot of IT things these days. Like, you check in any Goldman Sachs or any other company, there's a lot of fintech things which are going on. So it's become very necessary for me to even learn something about IT over here as well. So for me, since I don't have much idea, like you were explaining about the front end, back end, web and everything. So I absolutely have no idea about all of this. Maybe here and there I've read in some job portals, okay, about Java, .NET, C++, and all of that. But I absolutely have no idea what is good for me. The only thing that I think would be good for me, I'm actually a bit confused over here. How do I analyze what I should choose for myself? I opted for this session. something where I can switch from non-IT to IT background, like some scope. So how do I analyze this or figure out what would be best for me?
See, when you told two different things here. One is you are confused about what technology to pick up. Another thing is you're from a financial background and some IT things
Right,
are essential, right?
right, right.
Now, if I'm in your position, I would ask, a fellow colleagues who are into your same experience and working in those companies, and try to find out what are that IT essential things that are needed for your background so that you can bank on it, right? Not necessarily, I said like, these are the things that you need to pick up and learn this, right? Obviously, when you are going into a background, you have a very good education and background in that particular area. What is that, search for the jobs. What I would suggest you is, looking for a job, you search for the type of jobs that you want to go into and see what are the requirements over there. Obviously, there is one thing which is from your accounting the background that you said, right? Those are the things that will come up. And on top of that, they'll also ask few things which you will feel, okay, these are the IT things that I am not aware of, right? And then you can start looking at it and see what needs to be done. And obviously, in Udemy, if you go there, you will find all sets of topics being presented over there, and you should be able to get it. And connect me over the or this LinkedIn, and I should be able to see what needs to be done. Okay?
Sure, yeah.
But since you're already coming with 6 to 7 years, 8 years of experience in a particular field, right? What I would suggest you is, what are the things essential for you to learn in IT so that you can bank or it can be an added advantage to your experience is what you need to look for.
Okay.
Probably for you, learning Excel or maybe, those things are very essential for you. If you learn into that, that should be good for you. Okay. The things that I put here are purely from a programming background, right? From a management background or from your accounting background or from some marketing background. The IT related software things are totally different. Maybe you need to find those particular softwares, and you might need to find out what about that, and then
No,
you
in
pursue that.
case I'm sorry to cut you down over here.
Sure.
So in case now after having 6+ years of experience, and I think that, okay, you know what, I need to move into something into technical experience, not into finance anymore. So that way I'm asking.
Sure.
Because,
I mean, as I said, right? I mean, we had one lady from SBI after 15 years of experience, right?
Okay, right.
Though she was 15 years of experience, she was not getting 15 years of experience. We offered her 2 years of a salary, 2 years experience salary to her, right? And that was more than what she was drawing from SBI at that particular time, because she was from an IT background.
So there should be some compromises too.
Yeah, obviously, the first few years are something that maybe one and a half year or 2 years are something that you may need to be patient enough.
Okay.
But you seriously need to focus and be perseverant. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. I know most of the things will still unanswered, but this is something that if you try to find it out, you can easily get answers. You can connect me on LinkedIn and you can ask me the questions, and I should be able to guide you. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Tasakala.
Sure, no problem. And I'm a class 10 student, want to study commerce in grade 11, and that will be a problem when I take up a job in IT sector, as many people are saying to take science, think to get a job in IT. You are in class 10 now, don't think about job and all those things. First essential thing is you need to have very good percentage in class 10, class 11, class 12, and then on a graduation, right? For example, my company, my telecom company, when they hire from market, they look at 10th percentage, they look at intermediate percentage, and they look at the undergraduate percentage, and everything should be above 75%. So if you are not above 75%, they will not even call you for writing that exam and for interviews. Okay. So right now it says, do not worry about getting into IT job and all those things. Concentrate on your subjects, on your class, and try to get as good marks as possible, which is more than 80, 75, 80%. Okay. So that is my suggestion for you. And is it good to join a startup company? I'm a civil engineer, fresher switch to IT, and now I'm inshallah joining a startup company as a full stack web developer, Python. Is it good? Startup companies are the best to join in the sense, but only one requirement or one thing I would ask you: be very open to work on whatever they ask you to work on. Okay, because startup company are very small. There'll be huge set of requirements. You will be asked to work on multiple set of requirements. Take that as a challenge and work on it. Okay, not just programming. They ask you to do some financial research, do that. They ask you to do some sales research, do it. They ask you to do some support, do it. They ask you to do some coding, do it. They ask you to do some management, do it. Okay. Joining a startup company is very good, provided you are with open mind. You go there, you learn multiple things, and one year later or 2 years later, you do all these things, and you are the top. If you are good and all those things, what you have done, you should be picked up like the best fruit among the lot. Okay, no issues. Okay, I see
Myself,
the
Abdul Karim.
questions. Jay, Karim, boliye.
What I want to tell means just 2 months back I have started about Angular and bank, and also I try to means shift to full stack, and
Okay,
my elder brother also guiding me. But
okay.
what he was telling that you should show 2 years experience. But what I have seen your slides, you should be very true about that what you are doing. I have experience in teaching 5 years, but I want to
Hmm,
switch to the IT sector.
hmm.
So I cannot understand how I can explain that this 5 year experience where they're in teaching, they will ask what is the reason.
See, nobody will ask you why you are switching, right? Everybody knows why you are switching. The only thing they might ask you is like, have you worked in any company with some experience, and can you able to prove it? And that is where you
But your
might need to
slides
talk.
help me a lot by understanding what we have to do, what are the strategies we have to follow it. Very
Okay.
good slide, very true. Jazakallah.
Hmm.
It
Sure, no
helped me a
issues.
lot. Why? Because 2 months back only I started. I want to switch it. I got some idea about it.
Okay.
Inshallah, inshallah, I will be proceeding these ideas.
Sure, inshallah. You might need to talk to one of the startup companies, work there for free, maybe if you want, right? Or maybe ask them to give you some experience, fake experience, maybe it be. But that is
Mhm.
something,
No, actually, fake means somewhere we will be getting a problem. I think so. Why? Because background verification will be going on. No.
that's why I said true to yourself, right? I mean, when
Yes,
you're
yes, we
true to
should be true in
yourself,
every part, and we should be true.
see, if you're good at your teaching and you learn new technologies and you're very good at the technicals and you are able to crack that interview, right?
Yes,
Everybody
yes.
will give you an opportunity to work on. No issue.
Okay, okay. No,
Okay.
actually, guidance should be also there by the expert, or means somewhat who are good
That's
in.
correct. That's why I said, like, you need to have to talk to somebody, maybe
If
your
I
colleagues
only
or
switch means I cannot understand this all, but I got somewhat idea and roadmap also. So inshallah, I will be going switching on this part. Okay.
Ji, inshallah. ठीक है. No issue. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Going once, going twice. No more questions. Okay, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. This is my LinkedIn. You can all connect to me. If you have any questions, please reach me out there. And I should be whatever time I can get. I'll be able to guide you from my side. But one thing that you need to be thing is you need to have a patience, to switch to a new technology, and consistent and constant focus. Every day you need to take time. Every day you need to learn, and every day you need to work on something so that you gain that practical experience. Okay. I really appreciate all your time. We have, yes, inshallah.
Okay,
Okay.
Jazakallah, Riyaz bhai.
Jazakallah.
Nice hearing all these insights. Very helpful to all of us.
Jazakallah, sir.
Inshallah.